Hello, hello, hello. Today I'm going to be looking at the Geralt deck from the new Witcher Unmatched set and seeing what his cards are, reacting to what I think of him. Alright, so his ability and stats, he's melee, move 2, 16 starting health, sidekick, dandelion, who's ranged with 5 starting health. His ability is always prepared. At the start of the game, you choose your gear, select a potion, armor, and sword, and shuffle 2 of each to your deck. Okay. It's an interesting ability. Alright, looks like his first gear, Tawny Owl. So this potion, one of his potions. Let's draw 2 cards, gain action. And an ongoing effect. If any effect will cause you to discard a card from your hand, you may choose to ignore it. Discard this card at the end of your turn if you do an attack. Okay, that seems actually pretty good. That being able to not discard, this is going to be a very aggressive card. You draw 2, gain action, not having to discard. You're going to want to just keep attacking once you play this, which helps for its ability as well. You only have to discard if you don't attack, so this is going to let you flip a switch and kind of go super aggressive for a bit. Alright, his next potion is Blizzard. Draw 1 card, move Geralt up to 3 spaces, and opponents can't gain actions. Discard at the end of turn if you didn't attack. So this, I guess this helps you stop your opponent from being aggressive. Lets you draw a card, move back, but you have to attack to keep it out, so it's interesting. It almost seems like it wants to be a card to kind of get away and make your opponent have to not be as aggressive, but then you have to discard if you don't attack, so you kind of have to be aggressive at the same time. It's interesting card for sure. I think I like the Tawny Owl better for a potion, but we'll see. Alright, his first armor card, it's Wolf Medallion. It's 3 value defense for Geralt. Can't immediately cancel all effects on your opponent's card. During combat, if the opposing fighter is not adjacent to Geralt, ignore the value of your opponent's card. This is just your imagination from Bigfoot's deck, but better. Because against range heroes, this is a insane defense. Unless the other defense is really good, I don't see you picking it over this, man. It's 3 boost 2 copies. Oh, this is Geralt only. Okay, Armor of the Forgotten Wolf. It's 2 value defense for Geralt only. During combat, add +1 to this card's value for each fighter adjacent Geralt. After combat, end the turn. Okay, and see, I think I like the first one better, but I can see this one being, it's got the +1 for each fighter adjacent Geralt, which I don't see. I've seen it being a 3 if they're melee, maybe 4. I guess you gotta pick before the game though, so you can pick, if it's a range fighter you can pick the other one, if it's melee you can pick this one. This one you're always guaranteed a 3 defense, or a 4 if you have your sidekick or they have sidekicks, and it ends the turn, so it cancels after combat effects too. I'd say they're both pretty good depending, I think you just, if they're range matchup you pick the other one, if it's melee you pick this one, but otherwise I think they're pretty even, the 2 defenses. Alright, then we have his first sword card, which is Sword of Steel. It's a 4 value attack, Geralt only. After combat, gain an action. If the opposing fighter has 8 or more health, gain 2 actions instead. Are all of his gears 3 boost? I think they might be. So far it's looking like it. But this card is really good. It's 4 value, gain an action attack. And if they have 8 or more health, you gain 2 actions instead. So this is nice. This is going to work pretty much on most fighters you played earlier, I guess, except for Raptors and the Sisters, Cloak and Dagger. If you're playing against a hero with low health, I guess you can just always take your other sword. But this is really good. I guess we'll see what the other sword is, see if it's better than this. Okay, and the other sword is the Sword of Silver. Okay, if your opponent's card has a printed value of 4 or more, ignore its value. That's also really good, ignoring value. And since you get a pick after you know their character, you can always go into a match knowing, like, if your opponent's playing Daredevil, you just don't take this card because he doesn't have any printed 4 defense. Same with Robin Hood. If you know a character doesn't have printed 4s, then you just take the other sword, because it's no matter what you gain an action, and 2 if they have 8 or more health. or 8 or less health. No, 8 or more, my bad. So I think the other one's more versatile. This one's good into matchups though if they have 4 or more printed values. If they have a lot of them, that can be really good. Like against Bigfoot, that's going to be really good. Against some other characters, not going to be quite as good. But okay, so your gear is pretty good. Especially if you take first potion, Tawny Owl, and you take the Sword of Steel, you can have some insane combo potential. You can go very aggressive, it's looking like. Or I guess you could also play more defensive with Blizzard and Sword of Silver. But Sword of Silver too, it ignores value. I think by the looks of it right now from the gear, you're going to be a very aggressive character, because you also have ending turn with your 1 defense. It's going to be pretty good. Or canceling effects. Yeah, right now with your gear, all your gear is looking set up to be a very aggressive fighter, which is good. Alright, let's get into these other cards now. With your senses, Geralt Scheme. Search your deck or discard pile for a gear card and add it to your hand. If you take it from your deck, shuffle this card back into your deck. 3 boost value 2. Wow, this is a pretty cool card. So this lets you search your deck or discard pile. It's kind of like what Lady Lake wishes it was. Because if you search for it and it's in your deck, you put this card back into your deck. So no matter what, you're going to be able to play your gear. You're going to be able to play both these and get gear cards back from the discard pile no matter what. You use it before they're in your discard pile, you just get them early. This is going to be a really good card. This will let you get out your Sword of Silvers really early for gaining actions. Or is it Sword of Steel? Whichever the first sword was. It's going to let you gain actions really fast. Yeah, this is going to be a great card. Alright, next card is Igni. 0 value attack for Geralt. After combat, deal 2 damage to the opposing fighter and 1 damage to each other fighter adjacent to Geralt. 3 value boost 2. This is just going to be a lot of ping damage. This is really nice. You're doing 2 damage to the opposing fighter, plus 1 to each other fighter adjacent to Geralt. Although it's not opposing fighters, so you will damage your psychic if you have your psychic adjacent. So I guess you want to keep Dandelion further out. But still, this is a pretty good card, and it's a 3 boost. So far, I think all of his cards have been 3 boosts. That's pretty good. Alright, next card, Disciplined Duelist, a 4 value versatile Geralt card. After combat, if the printed value of your opponent's card is 2, you may draw a card. 3, deal damage to the opposing fighter. 4, your opponent discards a card. This is a very solid card. It's a 2 boost, you have 3 copies. It's 4 value versatile, so that's already good. With an effect, either you draw, deal damage, or make the opponent discard a card. If there's any of these 3 effects, it would be a really good card. And it'll switch up depending on what they play. I just think this is a very solid card. Solid defense, especially. Yeah, all 3 effects are good. So it doesn't really matter what your opponent plays, unless they play a 5 or a 1. But either way, it's still a really good card. It's 4 value versatile. And next card, Man You're Ugly. 5 value versatile, 4 boost. Wow. Just a blank 5 value versatile for Geralt. No ability. You've got 3 copies of this in your deck. So far, Geralt's defense package is looking pretty good with your armor cards, Disciplined Duelist card, and now this card. You're going to have lots of defense, it's looking like. Lots of high value defense, too. You can also use it on attack. 5 value versatile is great on attack. It's also great on defense. This is a really good card. Alright, next we have Rend. During combat, you can boost this card. It's 3 value versatile. So you can use this on defense or offense. 3 of them with 2 boost. So far, what we've seen a lot of 3 boosts and 2 boosts. Actually, that's all we've seen from this deck. So right now, this card is looking insanely good. Being a 6 value attacker or 6 value defense, it can be, or 5 even. Or this card's a very solid card. This is gonna make him have really good defense or offense. This is a great card. Alright, next up we have Yrden. 2 value versatile for Geralt only. Immediately, the opposing fighter cannot leave their space this turn. After combat, move Geralt up 2 spaces. 3 copies, 2 boost. It's a decent card. It's not a great card. It's kind of probably one of his worst cards. Might be like the regroup of his deck. But that's fine. So far, what we've seen in his deck's looking very, very strong. So it's good that he's got a few weaker cards. But even this isn't that bad. Opposing fighter can't leave their space. This can be used to set up a big action turn on your turn. You make him not be able to move and get right beside him. And using your potion to draw cards, gain action, and then your Sword of Steel, I think it is, whichever one gains you the actions. This card can be used set up for some big combo turns, so it's not horrible. It's not a great card either. Alright, next card is Riposte. 2-value versatile for Geralt. After combat, choose one. Do you want damage to an adjacent fighter or Geralt soft space with an adjacent fighter? This is also a meh card. I don't really ever see you using the swap spaces very often, unless you're in a very specific scenario, but I think most time you're just going to deal damage. Unless maybe you only have your psychic adjacent, then you'll just want to swap with them instead of dealing damage to them, but this card is kind of meh, just kind of like the last card. Alright, the first Dandelion card. Dandelion only, 3-value versatile, Annoying Tune. Move the opposing fighter up to 4 spaces after combat. 3 copies, 3-value boost. It's not a horrible card. So far, it's your only card that can be used on Dandelion, I believe. So if you want to keep him alive, you're going to want to play this as a defense probably. Or you can use it to boost your rend or just your movement. I think most of the time that's probably be really good for Geralt, not having to use any other cards to boost with. But maybe you want to keep Dandelion alive. We haven't seen his whole deck, and maybe there's a good Dandelion card coming up. And then we have another Dandelion only, 2-value versatile, Plot Twist. After combat, look at your opponent's hand, choose one card from the discard, draw a card. 3 copies. Okay, this is a good card for Dandelion. It's only 2 boost value, but I don't think you're going to want to boost with this when Dandelion's alive. Okay, so you're going to want to use the Annoying Tune, I'm guessing, or the Annoying Song, to keep him alive so you can play this card. This card's being ranged. This card's going to help you be very aggressive. You play this on defense to make your opponent choose you get to choose their discard, and you draw a card. And with how much aggression you can have with your action gaining, I think this is going to be a very, very good card. So I can see why you want to keep Dandelion alive. So far, that looks like Geralt's biggest weakness I could see is only having 2 cards for Dandelion. It's going to be hard to keep him alive if enemies attack him. But the rest of his deck is looking insanely strong. Even if Dandelion dies, I think as a solo fighter, even Geralt's going to be really good. I guess we'll see. But that Plot Twist is going to be the reason you want Dandelion alive. Okay, so my final thoughts I'm thinking Geralt himself is looking extremely strong with lots of good, solid defense and versatile cards that you can use as defense. Or you can also use him as on offense. But honestly, his defense package is looking he's looking like a very strong fighter, solo fighter. And Dandelion also, I'd say his biggest weakness is Dandelion can die early. But even if Dandelion does die early, you still have Rend, 3 copies of Rend to boost with your Dandelion cards with. But yeah, right. Geralt looks like he's gonna be hard to kill, although he looks like he's gonna be more of an aggressive fighter. He might run out of cards fast. So he might lose to someone like, I don't know, Wukong. I could see him having a tough time. So only really ping damage is Igni. So, and I guess he's got the Riposte, whatever it's called. I think this is going to be a very fun character. It looks like he's going to be quite strong on defense. Very aggressive character with good defense. Although, if you're playing aggressive, maybe you want to use your versatiles to attack, so then don't have as good defense. But even so, you got a 5-value versatile, a 4-value versatile, and a 3-value versatile you can boost. Whether you use it to attack or defend, you've got some insane values. I think Geralt looks like a very fun character. He's definitely going to be strong. I'm Just going to predict that he's going to be a solid, probably, for competitive play, I'm guessing he's going to be either high B or low A tier. Yeah, those are just my thoughts, my early thoughts on him. Haven't played with him, haven't seen him played. So that's just what I think.